research indicates that one of the most in-demand skills that are sought after is emotional quotient, popularly known as emotional intelligence. Now, what is it? And how can women take advantage of emotional intelligence to get ahead of themselves? We are about to find out.
Being emotionally intelligent means you're culturally aware, you're socially aware, you are in touch with who you are. Self-awareness is actually the gateway to emotional intelligence. That means you're aware of what your soul needs. You start being aware of your emotional cues. If you're very spiritual, you start being aware that you require that spiritual nurturement, whatever that is. If you're to be authentic with people, you're in touch with your authentic self.
Yeah.
You're safe with the needs that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
And so you can allow you, Quinta, to be safe with whatever you need. I look at your red hair and I'm like, wow. But usually, if I was another woman, I'd be like, my goodness. And even if I don't like it, I can tell you, hey, okay, that red is a bit much for me, but I still respect the space that we're in. Mm-hmm. So I think if you look at the competencies that really people talk about when they talk about emotional intelligence, you find that you do cover quite a lot about the human aspect of interacting with people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a great point you brought out there, that the focus more often than not is always on the papers, particularly academic papers. I have a degree, I have a master's, I have a PhD. I mean, I've gone to school until they say we read, and you study until you get to the sign of no school ahead. You have everything, you've bagged everything. So Mary, what is your understanding of emotional intelligence?
Yeah,
and why is it important?
Yeah, it is very important. I love what Vicky said. I think for me, the way I summarize it to myself and when I'm speaking to clients and even people I mentor is that and we're all works in progress, myself included, is that it's how I show up. Because how I show up determines how you will feel towards me. So if I show up, body language, I'm reading, you are reading my body language. And that means you will react to me in a certain way. So like Vicky says, if I'm very self-aware of how I show up and that everybody is different, they come from different backgrounds, and that I have an empathy to work with other people, and that I'm honest in how I deal, I'm authentic, but that authenticity is a number of behaviors. So once I realize that the way I show up in my talk, in my language, in my discussions, in hearing people's views, in the way I react or listen, then I start to understand that people react to me based on how I show up. And if I show up in a thoughtful way, in a considered way, then those people will react to me in a positive way. And if they do, then I can be able to influence them. Because now I have made them trust me, understand me, and hear me. See, yeah, Mary listens. Mary understood what was going on. So now they react to me in a positive way. So I can now influence you. If I can influence you, then surely I can get anything done. As a leader, I can engage you. You can be productive. Then you'll want to work with me. You'll want to participate in what I'm asking. And many people don't understand that you can be the most intelligent person. But if the way you show up to people is arrogant, is temperamental, is difficult, is disconnected. I'm talking to you, Oh, you want to come? Or you're the boss, you're talking, somebody walks in, you're the computer. Yeah, talk, I can hear. Then they will say, this guy doesn't even respect me. So I think it's very important to know how we show up and to think about it.
Still, studies also show that women are more emotionally intelligent than men. I don't know, maybe you are the experts, you're going to tell us. But how come I cannot marry these two? Because on one hand, we seem to be not in control of our emotions, or our emotional intelligence for that matter. But on this other hand, the statistics tell a different story. What is happening?
You see, there are people who, when things are getting hot, they just excuse themselves from the room. So you're right, they're hot, they're angry, they decide this situation, I need to pull myself out. Because if I stay, I'm going to react. So they are now controlling their behavior. We have a coach friend of ours who is actually a general practitioner as well, Derek Banga, who knows about, he always says he knows matatus trigger him. You know the people, me I know it's slow people. Slow people trigger me. You're like, surely you're being so slow, bring it, I'll take it over. So I know I'll be triggered by something. So he's triggered by matatus, but he started to say, I need to control my behavior, myself, understand where they're coming from. And now he looks at them, he just gives them space. Says, now I understand maybe they have to meet a target and so so on. So I think what Vicky was saying about people who are maybe caregivers have more aware of their emotions because they take care of patients all the time. Yeah. I think it's the same for women. We've been given permission by society to be emotional because we're the nurturers. So you will find that actually many women are in nurturing positions, supportive positions, HR managers, now of course even things like marketing, because we tend to be authentic, we are right. Because society has allowed us, it doesn't allow men. They're supposed to bottle up, to be fine even when things are terrible, you're crying, somebody's died. So they've bottled themselves and put it away. And they think they're supposed to be commanding and tough because the business world has told us to be a leader, you have to be harsh and whatever. But life is changing. We're having automation, as you said earlier. Everything's automation, technology, algorithms, AI. So things are being done by machines. Now the skills we're looking for are the softer skills: negotiating, influencing, collaborating, engaging. You know, those are the skills we're looking for. So women, in fact, if you look at the journals, coaches that we have and emotional intelligence practitioners, most are women. But on the other hand, because society, I think, allowed us to be so emotional, we haven't had the intelligence bit to understand what do you do with that emotion. You don't have to cry at every level. You don't have to shout at every level. You don't have to be this. Because, you see, emotions, they determine how we feel. It's what we're feeling. There are points of data, as Vicky keeps telling us. Like, don't go shopping when you're hungry, or go to a restaurant to order food when you're very angry. Yes, so, you know, because then the data is telling you I'm hungry, then you do too much. So there are points of information, so they make us feel certain way. When we feel certain way, like you were feeling about that lady, you take a decision. I'm never coming back to this place. I'm going to tell all my friends that's a horrible shop. So you see, so that information makes you make a decision, and that emotion then allows you to exhibit a behavior. That behavior then becomes a performance. So if employers could understand that those feelings give you decisions, those decisions make you behave in a certain way, that behavior has an impact on performance, then people would say, oh my goodness, this is something I need to know then how to control, how to exercise restraint, how to understand, how to know which behaviors I need to do, and therefore I'll get the performance I want. Not the one that was dictated by my emotions, because I knew the in-between.